Ride your hayseeds, it's a stick up!
You want ice, it freeze or get down on the ground.
Son, you got a panty on your head.
You never leave a man behind!
Welcome back to Cocktail Cinema, folks. I am your first favorite bartender, your third favorite author, Josh Price, and I am currently in a short-term romantic relationship with this rubber band. I am also here with the boys, Grego.
Damn glad to be here.
Shasti.
What's up, guys? Pleasure, as always.
In case you didn't catch the title of the episode, we are going to be reviewing Raising Arizona. This is the second film from the Coen Brothers. The first was Blood Simple, and then three years later, in 1987, we got this gem. It had a budget of just $2 million, and their box office was $29.2 million.
Solid.
So, proportionately,
Yeah.
not a bad job.
Especially for, this is like a cult film.
Yeah.
Like you said, their second one, but like you think that's their first one when you look back on it.
Yeah, I always thought it was their first one. For whatever reason, I always forget.
First
Blood
or
Simple.
second,
Yeah.
super successful.
Yeah. I mean, they really showed their chops early on. Now, another thing they were really good at was casting the right people in the right roles. Grego, would you like to touch on that?
Yes. Nicolas Cage, the best artist of our day, leaves this one up.
Indeed.
Brings a tear to my eye every time I talk about him. He's that bad, but I love him. Holly Hunter, Ed McDonough, John Goodman, Gail Snotes, yes, and his brother Juan Forsyth, Francis McDormand as Dot, Randall Craig Cobb, and Trey Wilson, Sam Murray fill the rest of this void.
Excellent. Most excellent.
I'm still crying over
you're-
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. Hey, he does a good job in this movie. Now, before we get started talking about all that, let's have ourselves a beverage. So today's drink is the Raising Arizona iced tea. See what I did there? See what I did there?
You made it pair perfectly just by titling it.
Because they're raising.
So we've got 2 ounces of peach vodka, half an ounce of Liquor 43, and then top that bad boy off with peach Arizona iced tea. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
You cannot tell there's alcohol in that.
Refreshing.
It's very smooth.
You know,
It's good.
with a movie of this caliber, would be a little more punch.
Oh, easy, buddy, easy. Might be a little too much punch in that punch for it.
Well, I mean, you got to think, like, Arizona's where a lot of people go to retire. And you want to just sit on your porch and drink some iced tea. So, here is your Raising Arizona iced tea.
I think it's perfect, Josh.
I
think it's
like
perfect.
it. I like it. I'm probably going to go back to this one soon enough. It's very good. Very good.
Peachy.
Now, for our speed review, or our speed summary, I don't even have to make up names. This is just a ridiculous situation. Nicolas Cage, convict, marries Holly Hunter, police officer. They proceed to kidnap a baby from the richest people in town, and then the baby's kidnapped again by John Goodman, and then the baby's kidnapped again by a demonic biker, and then they return the baby after saving it from the biker, and everybody lives happily ever after except for the biker. The end.
Kaboom. Kaboom with the biker.
Yeah, he really does.
Kaboom.
Well, I mean, I say they live happily ever after, but like John Goodman and his brother just like decide to go back to jail.
Yeah, like they're totally cool with it.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, yeah, if we get caught, we get caught. If we don't, we're gonna be rich.
Well, they make the statement early when they first show up at the house. They're like, we were in the institution. We decided
Hey, we got everything we needed.
that it had nothing left to offer us.
Dude, that first, like, when they arrive on the scene with, like, the wife, and he's like, well, let's see, where's the pants in this relationship? You know, since then, John Goodman has been the same guy from, like, say, like, Big Lebowski. Like,
Yeah, especially in Coen movies. You know?
yeah, exactly. And it's
It's
weird that way because
Yeah.
he's pushing the entire movie. The entire movie is John Goodman pushing the scene of the crime, or
with those 6 sideburns.
I know, man. Jesus, it's not him, man. It's not the guy.
See, I don't know. I think Walter is a very unique character.
Walter?
I would. His character in The Big Lebowski. Yeah. I would say this character is more akin to his role in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's very similar.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, like, Walter's a little bit more altruistic.
Okay. I guess,
but
what I was thinking of is that he kind of pushes the envelope in every aspect of him. Like, hey, man, your wife's treating you like shit. You should probably not take that.
He's always got that salesman element.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, us fat guys with sweet beers have that, you know.
a little pause to what do you shave with there, Grego? Nothing.
My fingernails.
My fingernails.
They're just so sharp and witty. Just like
sharp and witty. All right. We're losing the thread here. We're losing the thread. So, Raising Arizona.
I don't think so, Josh.
What would you say this is possibly Nick Cage's best role? Except for obviously Ghost Rider. Spirit of Vengeance. The second one. The second one. You know, the worst one.
He's honestly probably the most terrible actor who's ever walked the face of this planet.
I don't know. Tommy Wiseau exists.
He's not a bad actor. It's just his whole shtick. You know what I mean? For me, it didn't like in the 80s, early 90s. You know, it was like too over the top even then. But for like a Coen Brother movie, like you said, like imagine George Clooney and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You know what I mean? There's nothing
he's dumbed down.
Perfect example of dumbing down. Just like be dumb. You know what I mean?
That's obviously not in his scope.
My favorite Nicolas Cage role is, have you ever seen Bad Cop, Port of Call, New Orleans? Mm-hmm. It's a Harvey Keitel remake. Harvey Keitel was the original one in the 70s.
Okay.
This was made awesome. Is it? Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean, it's my favorite Nick Cage role, but the movie is fucked. Like, I didn't want to say that, but
I love Nick Cage. Like, he doesn't necessarily make great movies.
Loves Nick Cage.
I do. He is so entertaining.
You think so?
He's so entertaining. Like, we were talking off mic.
Wrong ways.
Like, no, he's entertaining in a lot of really. He's always a cartoon character. Like, they intentionally wrote him as Woody Woodpecker in this role, so he's cartoonish intentionally. But in all of his roles, he's kind of cartoony. You talk about like The Rock, and he's just what in the name of Zeus's butthole. Or how in the name of Zeus's butthole did you get out of your cell? Like, it's just these cartoonish lines mixed with his
like
animated expressions. Yeah.
Put the bonnet down.
I could eat a peach for hours.
That's what I'm saying. We're bringing up all this crap about this guy. You know, he's got this cartoonish role, yes, but I don't think it transfers well to being a real person.
I mean, I think it's entertaining. And when you think about it, like, critically, obviously, no, he's not the greatest actor. He's not a great actor, but he's still entertaining. So this is where, you know, this is the thing that I've struggled with since Doomsday, where it's dividing the good from the entertaining. And he's still very entertaining. In this movie, he's fantastic because this role is essentially written for him.
Yeah, and they portray him as that. I mean, look at the first shot, last shot through the entire movie. He's got this crazy hair. I mean, he is set up to be that cartoon that you're portraying him as. And yes, he follows through in that. You know, even when he's getting his ass whooped, he's got one eye's closed, he's making some weird face. It's jumbled, you know. So I give this movie credit for that, you know. But as far as me goes, I don't think he's the best choice of actor for any kind of. And I know you're gonna disagree.
I don't know. I mean,
I think this is the perfect role for Nick Cage. Right? Like,
we're talking about
maybe he's
him
not
as a joke, though.
I'm just saying maybe he's not the best actor who could have done. He might not be the best actor who could have taken the role, but I truly believe that was the best role for Nick Cage.
I'm right there.
There was at one point throughout the whole movie because, like, just the time period it's in. You know what I mean? It's so campy already.
Yeah.
It didn't just seem like Con Air or The Rock in that sense, where you're just waiting for the next one liner. It's like you're concentrating more on Ethan's dialogue than like Nicolas Cage about to say some stupid one liner.
Right. Well, and that's the element that really elevates this movie above his other roles, where it's still this. This is the same actor who is a meme for multiple reasons, like the bees. I could eat a peach. All these moments that are so
I don't
over
even
the
know
top.
if I should start pulling them.
And, no, you don't have to. You don't have to. But
just
in the hands of Joel and Ethan Coen, with like he said, Ethan writing and Joel directing, they have a very specific directing style and writing style, and we talked about this in Lebowski a little bit. So like they don't really have the very many improv moments, so everything is intentional.
Okay.
And they're very good at taking the raw talent, which clearly he has, and making it better.
Okay.
I think
I don't know if I totally agree with that raw talent aspect. I mean, he has the ability to look dumb on camera, and they shape him into, like you said, a comic book character, and they give him everything around him, as far as a nice, beautiful wife, Holly Hunter, Ed, named Ed, and there's so much.
What kind of name is Ed for a beautiful thing like you?
There's so much like weird play on everything. It seems like that his comic book character doesn't seem to hit home as far as like he actually gives a shit. It's all about Ed. It's all about Ed, and it's all about her. That's what I took from the film. I feel
That's
like
interesting.
I'm taking the female side in this one.
See, I have
She was completely and utterly let down by this guy. She knew what she was getting into to a point.
Yeah, but she's like, let's go kidnap a baby.
Right.
Like,
I think
Well,
Holly
I
Hunter's
understand
character is
that,
so
for
much
sure.
more over the top than Nicolas Cage. Like the scene in the car.
right.
You're a father now. Everything's changed.
He just wanted to rob convenience stores, not even banks. You know what I mean? She's like, go steal a kid out of like the most famous dude in town.
You didn't come back with a kid. That scene was pretty funny. You remember that scene where he's like actually going through all the kids?
Yeah.
There's like 6 of them, and he's like trying to pick one up, put one down, slide one from the underneath, and like not let them get to that door.
Yeah.
That scene.
I think I
is
got
like,
the best one.
And then he came back scared shit. That's like, I want to be a daddy now. I got fucking 60 of these bitches I couldn't even take care of. It's like, I think that's like that's the scene. It sets the tone. But yeah, I don't know. I felt it from her more so than him.
I think she's written even more cartoonishly. So like Nicolas Cage has something to chew
I
on.
won't deny that. Right.
But she's and it's intentional. It's not accidentally over the top. They have a running theme in a lot of their movies where they draw direct parallels between characters on the screen and Looney Tunes, like Woody Woodpecker in this movie. So it's in another world. Like people from Arizona don't sound like that.
Yeah.
Like it's in a world where all this crazy stuff can happen. So the over the top nature is expected and it's suspension of disbelief.
It's honestly needed in a movie that's written around a
dark.
kid being and constantly
Yeah.
falling off the top of the vehicle. And like even before all that, I don't know, I guess we get into like some production stuff. Like honestly,
I was gonna ask
what's
about.
up?
I was gonna ask about that you brought up the cartoon character on the arm. And is that a callback to say like this is a real life comic book? Do you think is that how you perceived
Yes,
it, or do you perceive it as like matching?
They've come out and said
on, I don't know. I mean,
they've come out and said like he
there's
is
a lot
Woody
to be
Woodpecker.
taken from this movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
it's not-
absolutely.
I shit on Nicolas Cage's performance all day long, but there's a lot to take from this movie.
I mean, he executed what was
He
needed
did.
for it.
He
That's
did
where
a really good
That's where like
job.
normally I'm the first guy to hate, but it's like that's it for
Like even Con Air,
Yeah.
is not a good movie because of his performance, even though he's just doing what he normally does. In this movie, he does something because he's in the right hands. He does something a little bit different and it's a little more refined. And I think I really do think this is the best performance he's ever given. This or maybe Kick-Ass, but that was a very limited role. Very limited role.
he just had to be Batman.
What about him in Game of Thrones? You ever seen him? No.
Or him as Superman.
I think I saw him in E.T. Gotcha. That's great.
That's when we need the projector back, just so it's.
Nostrovia.
Australia.
Oh, shit. Yeah. So, moving on from Nick Cage. Other than that, do you have any gripes about this movie? I mean, this is early in the Coen's career, so this is where they would make mistakes.
So not too much gripe, but I mean, I think that shadow biker villain thing was a somewhat overplayed. Lenny, yeah, and then so you don't really see him till I think halfway through the movie or so. But other than that, it's a silhouette. It's his dream state, and you finally roll upon this guy, and he's just like smoking stogie after stogie. No smoke gets in his eyes. He's always ready to kill.
Yeah.
That part seemed a little bit lacking. The correlation between the bounty hunter and Nicolas Cage. I had some questions there.
I think hearing like what Josh said earlier about Nick Cage being able to like dream everything into existence, almost like that's like that role, which is super cool and like a cool angle to look at as a viewer. But it's not. But that's not obvious. You know what I mean? Like,
but if that was the case, I'm like, can he dream in a good way? He did dream a good way, but what?
Well, for the audience sake. So off mic, we were kind of doing our pre-show.
Sorry to cut you,
and
no,
my
bad.
we're having a discussion here. This is normal.
Yes.
So like just to give context here, so the Coens have said that like they leave it up to interpretation, but they also say that there's a chance that Nicolas Cage's character in this movie, Thye, can dream things into existence. So when he dreams about the demonic biker, Lenny, the guy kind of becomes a real person in his life. So that's why they mirror they have the bad dream about the biker, and then like George Lucas says, it rhymes. You know, it rhymes. At the end, they have the good dream where he has a family and he grows old with Ed, and it's just happiness upon happiness upon happiness. And he's got that closing narration. He's like, was it real? Looked like us, seemed like us. Maybe it was Utah. You know, so they leave it open, but they have said, you know, it's a cartoon world. Maybe he can dream things into existence.
So saying that and knowing what the Coen brothers do, do you feel like this was a dream state movie or real existence type players?
I think neither, really. Okay. I think this is a live action movie set in a cartoon setting. Set in a cartoon world. So magic exists here. And it's executed in a way where the suspension of disbelief is upheld. And because like you see the biker punch Nicolas Cage, and he goes flying like 10 feet, and you don't doubt it for a second.
Yeah, because there's not so much of that. There's not so much. The world that's being created is very violent and very...
It's just real enough.
Yeah,
violent, but with the comedy aspect that a cartoon has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and
Roadrunner and Coyote cartoons are like the most violent things
Right,
you've ever
yeah.
watched. If you like...
Explosions.
They saved all of it. They
Like,
saved all of it. Like, to be honest, the kidnapping of the child and this, that, and the other, and the falling off... That's the most violent parts of this whole shit, but everybody only remembers the violence from that final scene. Holy crap!
Well,
you know
there's
what I mean?
there's a shootout halfway through the movie that you don't think about, like when he robs a convenience store.
It's like it's nothing.
It's just normal.
Yeah,
it's just normal. Like he's not even phased. And I know I said we were getting away from Nicolas Cage, but
Please.
in that moment, like it comes down to the world they're building. Like nobody's really phased by him as Gandalf. Oh my gosh, nobody's really phased by this cop just shooting wantonly into the convenience store.
Yeah.
Like the lady that's driving that car is just screaming her head off and runs right through the cop. So like the violence in this world is normal.
Yeah.
And then it's so parodied by the peaceful prison. Like they're in a therapy session talking about their sexuality, and then in the real world, there's like grenades just blowing up bunnies left and right.
That's why I asked the question. It's like that the paradox stairwell. You know, it seems like that.
Yeah,
the
Penrose Steps.
Penrose Steps. Yeah, it seems to almost mirror that. It's
cartoon.
At some points. Yeah,
it's cartoon.
You know? But like very smart.
These guys are brilliant.
Yeah, very smart.
Like we didn't
Even
talk
on
about
early,
it enough.
Yeah. Even the camera the camera didn't wow me in this movie.
It's very straightforward. Very straightforward.
But it was just the dialogue mixed with like
The chase scenes were dope with the camera
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And that's super cartoony too, in the sense where like they get
can see that guy.
they get chased by the cops and they get out of the car and start running like through the yards.
Yeah.
And the cops just go full speed and like do 360s and go around the block. It's like
Okay.
I loved it. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a
Super
good
over the
point.
top. But like that shit's hard to execute. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that adds to the point that we're talking about that I think it's very underdone, and you're saying it's overdone in points. So it's a nice balance of
Yeah.
positive and negatives. I mean, they're using realism and
Fantasy.
imagery. And things, yeah.
And it's, I mean, it showcases that the mastery that the Coens had over film this early in their careers.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, at this point, they are still you weren't allowed to write, direct, and edit your own films. You had to have a certain number of staff.
Yeah,
That's why there's two.
So like, they needed one more.
Right,
So
right,
that's
right.
why one writes, one directs, and then there's in a lot of their early films, there's like a name that keeps popping up as the editor. That's just them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They build someone who didn't exist so that they could edit their own films the way they wanted to.
Hell yeah.
And it's a great way around it. And like the same way that Robbie Rodriguez is like the multi-tool.
Yeah.
They're the same way. They like to have that kind of
Nicolas
creative
Cage
control.
was the multi-tool.
No, he's just kind of a tool.
That's what I mean. He's a tool in so many.
He's a single tool.
Yes.
You know, I actually
of the
would
boat.
like to hang out with Nicolas Cage
Yeah?
just once.
Yeah, that'd be
just once.
Yeah.
That'd be all it would take.
I'd
for
rather
him to
hang out
kill
with him
you.
than watch one of his movies.
He wouldn't
For
get
the
it.
most
No,
part.
we would steal the Declaration of Independence.
We would a shitty haircut.
We would fly around
Always
the
a
world
shitty
and then we'd
haircut.
go to jail.
The guy's always got a shitty haircut. It's like he's never had a nice man's haircut.
I
There's
don't
a-
know.
there's
This
a
movie
real good
looks,
one.
he
Great
looks
clips to
he
get
looks
this man a
great
job.
in this movie.
Oh, there's
he looks great.
He does because it's the only movie where his hair fits his face.
Oh, I guess. He's
Like
got a long face. He's like a horse.
that's why he looks best with his hair shaved. Like some guys
Sides?
just all together. It for his hair to match who he is.
Look at the pelican
he's got a-
shot. Look at that's what we're talking about. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. If Nicolas Cage showed up on set with that fucking kind of hair, you best believe I'd be watching that fucking film.
Oh man!
Instead of reviewing this.
You You can't say that.
It was a commercial. They get it.
Oh, you're not Jeffrey.
No.
Anyway, I make jokes for people that don't exist anymore.
Yeah, no. Continue. Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage exists. in
Nicolas
fantasy
Cage
world for
exists.
me.
Holly Hunter exists. John Goodman and his glorious sideburns exist.
He was great in this movie.
He's amazing in this movie.
Yeah.
Punching the ceiling of the car.
Dude, he's just like the devil on the shoulder. You know, just like,
Yeah.
hey, like it looks like your wife's treating you a little.
I think I know what's going on in this situation here.
You're having a fight about money, aren't
It's a
you?
financial issue. It's just so evil, like it is.
And his brother's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's glorious. John Goodman.
It's just business.
If we could do John Goodman, we could have a story here.
We did have a story here. Somebody kidnapped a baby, then somebody else
Yeah,
kidnapped
we'd have
that
less
baby.
memes
God
if we were
bless
doing
John Goodman
That's
and
true.
the stealing of the babies.
This is true. This is true. There's another movie where John Goodman kidnaps a babe, and it's it's that Cloverfield movie, like the 324 Cloverfield Lane or whatever. Oh my god! He kidnaps a babe, so it's a running theme for him. I'm glad that joke landed so well.
Dun dun dun.
It was amazing.
Moving on.
I'm just reminding Mary Elizabeth Winstead that I'm still in love with her.
You heard it first. Second?
Well, I mean, when the restraining order, expires, I'll be able to say it again.
Amen.
That may be the creepiest thing I've said all night. So, moving forward, we talked about camera work. We talked about the chase scenes. Is there anything production-wise that kind of stood out to you guys?
Honestly, not for me too
Not-
much.
yeah.
It was kind of a blank canvas. I mean, the area, like the shots of the Arizona bleakness.
Yeah,
and
it's just
trailer
very well
park,
executed. Yeah, it's
So-
not anything innovative necessarily, other than like shots you're talking about chase, but it's very well executed. Everything is on point.
They don't do a lot of like super crazy cinematography, but a lot of it's like color schemed. And I feel like Arizona is just like that perfect motif that Dances with Wolves motif. You know what I'm saying? It's like Mr. Arizona's whole house, like the wallpaper was all that. Like a lot of the shots had just like the Arizona decor,
Right.
which, you know, colors. It's an easy one to stick with. It's nothing like super creative or outside of the box. But I think they did that well in this first scene too.
Well, and there's that color dichotomy between the blue sky and the bleak earth. You know, so it's a very, like you're saying, a very easy motif to run with. Other than that, like, just a really tight film. You know, really well done. Really funny. I actually enjoyed watching this movie for a change. Like, when we watch these movies, I have to watch them so critically that a lot of times I can't enjoy them. This, and I'm going to shock you here, Green Street Hooligans, I was actually able to really get into again, even watching it critically. So, you know, props to Lexi and props to the Coen Brothers for allowing me to still enjoy my job. That said, do we have any last thoughts on this movie before we move to our final segment?
No, not for me.
Take one more shot.
At Nick Cage?
No.
Easy.
The sweet spot where Nick Cage punched his boss in the face after trying to swing with his wife.
It's for him.
I think it's mentionable. No.
And then he shows up at his house the next day. He's like, I just wanted to let you know you're fired. I figured.
That's it for me.
It's a movie full of great one-liners, you know, and they're not like necessarily even quotable. They're just great. Like the everything's changed. I figured. What's a name like that for a beautiful thing like you? My name is Hi. Shit like that. Just fun lines.
My name is H.I. McDonough.
Just good stuff, man. Just well written. That said, moving on to the final segment. Boys, let's talk tacos. Now, as we sprinkle that little bit of onion and cilantro on top.
Extra cilantro for me, boy.
How many tacos are you getting today, Greg?
This movie's getting a rough one for me. An 83.
Okay.
83.
It's not bad.
83 for me. Probably really going to get into it. Just that's where it falls for me.
Mm-hmm.
Truly.
Yeah, same area for me. I'll give it 86. I love so many more of the Coen Brothers movies more.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's their second movie, and I just like that. That was the one thing I learned about this movie this time around is that it wasn't actually their first.
Yeah. Same.
So, but I mean, you know how it is. We've been working hard at this for a while. We still have so many improvements to make for your second movie as writing and directing. It's kind of impressive. So maybe I should put it higher, but I'm doing 86.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna give this a 77. This is a good movie. Everybody should watch it. It's very funny, but it's not one of the greats. And they've done so many better films, but this is definitely a hallmark for them because this is their first foray into real comedy. So like, it's holy shit. You guys are spot on with your scores as far as how people feel about it. I'm rating it a little bit low.
Looks like you hate it now.
It's very well done.
Yeah.
It's very well done. But I have to weigh it not only against our normal criteria, but against the rest of their filmography.
It's hard not to just Coen Brothers. I love this flick. It brings me back.
Yeah.
87 holds so much weight, but it's
great. It is so fun to watch, so enjoyable, and it's very tightly done. But they've done these same things so much better that watch this, appreciate it for what it is, and then move on to their better works.
True.
I will say this is one of their least nihilistic movies from what people say.
It's a good stepping stone. You know, they had major players, decent plot line.
The start of them getting heavy hitting actors.
They were able to kind of maybe find their feel and camera work. With that vastness of said Arizona and very limited character structure. and amount. But yeah, no, I'm with you, buddy.
Yeah, for a $2 million movie, solid work.
Yeah, success. Yeah, no one can knock that as fucking
Excellent.
success. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, moving forward,
Always.
thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you are watching on YouTube and you have not done so already, hit that like button. I think it's over here. Hit that subscribe button. It should be down here, along with that bell notification. Over here, and maybe over here, you might see, well, probably later on, you'll see a couple of suggestions here, maybe a playlist, maybe a video. Go ahead and watch those. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. It's us. Come on.
I'm sure.
That said, on that YouTube channel, you'll be able to find all of our podcasts and all of our new series. We have Director's Cut, where Greg and I talk about a director. Our first series is just dropping here in March, and that was on James Cameron. And then you can find Thesis Statement, where I go hog wild on a topic no one has allowed me to talk about. And then our newest addition to the stable, Hot Takes.
Spicy. That's a spicy one.
Hold your hot
Hot
tongue.
Takes. Grego, I have discussed our video projects. You want to fill people in on the rest of our podcasts?
Podcasts, yes, we have quite a few along with the ones that you're hearing now. We'll be putting those up as well. We are also going to have another edition here pretty soon with young Shasti. Going to be coming through in a couple months here, maybe a month or two out.
Oh, it might be a little too early. To
We got something under wraps, yeah.
But yeah, Director's Cut, check that out. Josh's Hot Takes, man, you gotta watch that kind of stuff. You have to watch it. You can hear us in the background, kind of giving it some gruff. There's gonna be some more of that, I think. Keep your eyes peeled. You can find me at the Fozcaster on Twitter. I don't answer too much to that kind of stuff, but we'll rock it out. Find us, look it up.
Shasti, why don't you tell the people about the music you produce and what we're listening to right now?
Yeah, this is a little beat I made that fit in perfectly for Cocktail Cinema. So we're rolling with for our intro.
Excellent.
Yeah, I got some stuff in the works that I don't really want to plug yet, but I'll just plug Hot Takes. It's my first director credit ever
It's
for a
true,
video.
yeah.
So if you haven't seen Hot Takes yet, check it out. Super funny. If you like our movie reviews, it's hilarious, and you can like watch it in like 10 minutes. If you're on lunch break at work or something, throw that shit on. And it's fire. Yeah. We'll talk soon about the other shit, though.
Much obliged. Now, all that said, we'd like to shout out our patrons. We see you, we hear you, we love you, and we appreciate all your support. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. All of our new viewers, you can find our Patreon at patreon.com/Sippable Opinions if you'd like to support us financially. If not, share this video with everyone you know and everyone you don't know. Make sure we can spread the love, spread the word. With that, say goodbye.
Well, shit, man, I guess that's why they call it a way homer.
Why's that?
Because you only get it on a